from the deep, dark hollers of Knott County, Kentucky, where the moonshine is strong, the stories are strange, and your neighbor is probably your cousin. This is Appalachia, not so quiet. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to Appalachia Not So Quiet. I am your host, Hillbilly Phantom, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely wife and co-host,
Appalachian Shade.
So, Shade, my dear, we have kind of been out of it
We survived
for a
the
few
plague.
weeks. A nasty little plague invaded our home. I had it. Well, actually, our oldest caught it first.
We just thought it was a head cold.
Yeah, it didn't last that long with him.
Mhm.
Couple days he was feeling better, but then I got sick, and it stuck with me for a while. All the stuffiness, my head just feeling drowsy, I guess.
Yeah.
And then you got sick, and man, it took its toll on you.
Yeah. Completely obliterated. It obliterated me.
Yeah, it's just seemed to hit you a little harder.
Mhm.
It stuck with you a lot longer.
Yeah. Like I even lost my voice. So.
Yeah, I didn't have a voice there for a couple days. So basically, we just had to say, well, podcast is going to have to wait. So sorry to everybody out there for not having our scheduled episode.
Or, I mean,
last Monday.
we really could have done it, and I just would have sounded like a dying cryptid.
Yeah. You would have sounded like some of those EVPs of stuff like groaning and growling, trying to speak. And we actually still are kind of fighting a little bit of the stuffiness and kind of croupy every now and then, a little coughing.
Yeah, and my voice comes and goes at times. So
Yeah,
a little raspy. So.
I don't know if it's some kind of, if it's one of these new COVID strains or if it was just some new flu.
Yeah,
but it seemed like a lot of people were getting sick.
I don't think it was the flu because we really didn't have like upset stomach and vomiting or anything like that.
Yeah, there wasn't any of that, but it was very severe head
Yeah,
congestion and
I'm thinking more like COVID or a really bad sinus infection.
yeah, it was something along those lines. But man, it had us down for a while, and then I've been working a lot lately, so things have been pretty hectic for us.
Yeah.
But we are happy to be back, so thank you everybody for sticking with us. We have tried to continue having our presence on Facebook and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Shade has been posting a lot of content.
That's right.
She is getting very creative with some of her cryptid posts and merch store.
I'm a Bigfoot in the moon pies face.
Yeah. I love that picture. Trying to draw out Bigfoot with a moon pie. It would probably work around here.
It might.
I bet Bigfoot likes moon pies. Moon pie and RC Cola, Appalachian staple. So we want to take a moment to thank all of you out there because we've had some just amazing numbers when it comes to all the platforms you find Appalachia Not So Quiet, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, all those places. We've been gaining new followers and getting a lot more listens. So thank all of you out there for helping support us. We're just blown away by all the support and all the love. And we would like to return some of that love that you all have been showing us on the last episode where we discussed some ghostly encounters we had in Brandenburg, Kentucky at Jailhouse Pizza. Well, we didn't really have any spooky encounters there.
No, but the food was delicious.
Yeah, the food was delicious. And we hope to go back there and maybe catch some spooky things.
But down there at the stage we had some stuff
we
going
absolutely had a very, very odd experience down there by the waterfront.
We definitely need to go back.
Yeah, that is on our list. We are absolutely going to go back there. And like I said, hopefully we'll actually get to do a real kind of full-blown investigation of Jailhouse Pizza. But on that episode, talked about hitting our new milestone of 2,000
Streams and downloads.
2,000 listens to our podcast, our little podcast. Getting so much love. But thank you all so much. So we were going to do a giveaway for a hoodie, and we actually extended the giveaway since we didn't have an episode last Monday. We continued to compile the names of those that left any comments. Unfortunately, it was only like 5 names. So, I mean, thank you for all the listens, but let's get some comments. We're trying to give away free stuff here, people, but we have got those few names together on the Wheel of Fortune, the little app on Shade's phone.
For now.
Yeah, that's all we have for now. So she has the names in the Wheel of Fortune, and she's going to give it a spin. It's spinning. And the winner is
Christina Ballard.
Christina. Congratulations. You have won an Appalachian Not So Quiet hoodie.
And this is a brand new design.
Yeah, this isn't the same
new.
design that's on the T-shirts and the mugs that we were giving away on our.
No, this is a brand spanking new. Just made it.
Yeah, you're getting good at this. You really are. You're making some really, really cool logos and artwork and things for the podcast.
It's my expertise.
Yeah, you're very good at it. Yeah, you are.
Graphic design.
So yeah, congratulations, Christina. We will be contacting you and getting your size and all that you'll need, and
shipping that.
Where we need to send it to. So everybody keep listening and be ready to comment, because you never know when we might do another giveaway. It'll probably be at another milestone, 2,500 maybe, or 3,000, maybe even 5,000. We may wait to 5,000.
I think we should wait till 5.
Yeah.
We'll do like
I think that's probably the next big, huge milestone, I guess.
So we got some really cool stuff. We could do like hats, hoodies, shirts, beer mugs.
Yeah, we can do other things.
Like a big bundle, because that's a big one.
Yeah, that's a really big one. Yeah, maybe we could do like a bundle. We could do a picture. We could sign it or something.
Yeah, we'll get that. We're not that famous yet.
Yeah, well, we'll do something cool. And we've got a lot of cool things, interesting things coming down the road for us. We're starting to kind of interact and talk with other people through Facebook. We're starting to gain more contacts. We might be spreading out our wings a little bit and start having people on, people who have podcasts kind of similar to ours. There's a lot of people out there talking about this stuff. We have our little niche of Appalachia and talking about some of the mysteries specifically around there. Every now and then we venture out. There are a lot of podcasts about just, in general, cryptids, ghosts, supernatural happenings, mysteries, disappearances. So we're not, all that special in the regard of the strange, mysterious things that we talk about on our podcast, because there's a lot of them. There really are. So where we're going to go tonight, speaking of mysterious disappearances, we've talked on several occasions about disappearances, people disappearing. We have done several episodes about people that have disappeared from our little corner.
Yeah, especially
of
around
Appalachia
Mountains and Daniel Boone National Forest.
Yeah, and then, of course, we had the episode about the Appalachian Triangle. We talked about a lot of disappearances there. And I had talked about the missing 411 project in that episode, and a lot of strange disappearances related to that. And there's, been strange disappearances, supposed abductions related to aliens and things. But there's something that we haven't really touched on before, and that's the mystery of disappearing items.
The disappearing object phenomenon.
Right. And it's very prevalent. You can't deny it. Everybody out there has experienced this.
And it makes you want to pull your hair out, especially as a mom, because you're like, my kids took it and hid it, and you still can't find it.
Exactly. You put something down, you put it down right there. You turn around for just a second, turn back, and it's gone.
And you flip the house upside down hunting for it, and you still can't find it.
Right. It wasn't misplaced. You put it down in that spot. I've done it. I mean,
Well, okay,
a
well, I'm gonna
hundred
make an
times.
excuse for you, though. It happens a lot for you, and it will
Hey,
be like right there in front of your face. That's, being a man, so
well, okay, there is a little issue that men seem to have with seeing something right in front of their face. Their wife's like, "It's right there."
yeah.
No, it's not. I don't see. And then you come in there, and there it is,
Right.
right in front of my face.
This happens more for women than men, I think.
I th- I
Because women,
think
we really don't misplace things.
I don't know about
We
all
we
that,
know where everything is. I know where everything is in this house.
but I'm talking about something different here.
I
I'm
know.
I'm talking.
I have to give you a hard time, though.
So I'm talking about items that are vanishing
Yeah.
without a trace, and then sometimes they show back up.
I've had, like, just parts, like, pieces of jewelry and stuff go missing. I've not seen for a long time or never see them again.
Yeah. I've had that happen so many times. Put down something, walk away, come back a few minutes later and can't find it. And like you said, turn the house upside down trying to find it and can't find it. And then sometimes days later, it'll show up right there in that spot.
Or a really strange spot, like, outside in the yard, and you're like, "How the heck?"
Yeah,
I've had that happen before. How the heck did it get outside? It was on the counter.
that's the really weird thing
Mhm.
is when they don't appear
Yeah.
back in the spot you put them in. All of a sudden, they've shifted to another spot. I can point to a recent event where this happened, where I know for a fact I can remember it very vividly, putting a certain tool into my bag and taking it to work with me. When I went to retrieve the tool from my bag, it was gone. It wasn't there. And I was flipping out. I was like, I know I put it there. I looked everywhere I had been. Maybe it fell out of the bag. I looked through my car. And it was like 2 weeks later, I go out in the garage and this tool that I, looked everywhere for was laying in the floor of the garage. So, I mean, is it the item or is it us? Is it reality itself kind of shifting around us?
One of the best examples I can come up with is your little mama and her
Oh,
keys.
Lord.
Her keys. Oh my goodness. And her cell phones. Like, she could lose her cell
Yeah,
phones.
she lost stuff
Yeah.
constantly.
I mean, these keys, if you throw them at somebody, would knock them the heck out into next week.
Yeah,
I
this
mean,
was a
there
huge
was
wad of keys
at least 50, maybe 100 keys on this wad of keys, and she would lose them all the time, and
all the time.
they would just turn up in weird places.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really strange
And
because there's no way she should be able to misplace that or anything because it weighed like 10 pounds.
and Christmas presents, like, we made a joke out of it,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I mean, she couldn't ever find them. She would deal with this really bad.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, we would make jokes about it.
Mhm.
She would buy something for somebody for Christmas.
She'd be like, "Well, I bought you something, but I
And
can't go back
yeah,
and find it.
and she's like, I got you something else, but I don't know where it's at. I put it
I
up.
wrapped it and everything."
Yeah, I put it up, and when I went to get it, it wasn't there.
And I've always, uh especially around festival time, there would always be these posts of lost keys found in, the street here. And I always say, "Are these yours? Are these yours?" And she'd be like, "Could you leave me alone?" And these would
We
be big
tried,
hunking keys too. And I was like, "I'm just making sure."
and we tried to help her
Hmm.
with this problem because we got her some of they weren't air tags. They were
They're called tile.
the tile
Hmm.
things that you put them on your keys.
I put them on her keys. I put them on her cell
Yeah,
phone.
yeah. We attached one to her phone.
I even put a lanyard around her neck for her cell phone, and she still lost it. This one, it pings in Hyman, Kentucky, like downtown, like where she worked at,
Yeah,
and we couldn't ever find it. That was the last place it pinged.
yeah, yeah.
And she's like,
She
"I
finally
had it
lost
around my
that.
neck."
She finally lost her big wad of keys,
Mhm.
and the last place it showed was along 550 somewhere. Like she just dropped them on the side of the road.
And I
Was
swear, if somebody had hit these, they would have caused awful wreck.
oh yeah,
Would hit these
it's
on
like
the
a
road.
big 10-pound wad of keys.
We give up. It wasn't working for her. Like I told her, I said, "Other than a ball and chain, I don't know what else to do for you." But they would just It would just go.
Yeah, but I mean, that begs the question, was this just my mother, having kind of a forgetful mind? Did she have maybe a touch of some kinda Alzheimer's or
I
dementia or
know, your
something?
mom was
I
perfect.
know she was very
She could
sharp and
remember
acute.
her work and everything. No.
So, was it something else?
Yeah.
Was there some kind of supernatural force?
'Cause she never forgot where she'd parked at or anything like that.
Right. That's what
So,
I'm saying. It
yeah.
was always just these little items.
Her jewelry, she would always lose her
Yeah, she
jewelry.
would lose jewelry, she'd lose her phone, she'd lose her keys, she would lose small gifts.
Mhm.
The big ones never disappeared, but anything kind of small, like book sized,
Yeah.
would disappear. And, we've talked at length before about strange things that happened in that house. I had some weird experiences there. I know a lot of other people in my family have had experiences there. So, did that maybe have something to do with it? Was, there's some kind of spirit that was moving items around or taking them?
Maybe testing mom's patience.
Yeah. But keys, phones, socks. That's another one.
Okay,
Everybody
I
goes
wanna
on
stop
about
you
the
at the socks.
socks.
The socks, I debunk the socks. I showed you the last time you thought the dryer was messing up where the socks went.
Well, yeah, we did find some socks in there.
I told you, it was like, it's caught in the belt, so that's why it's not running. There's a
But
sock in the belt.
but I mean, I've done that before. I've taken the dryer apart to see if there's a sock lost inside of it somewhere, and there's not been. But yet the socks still disappear.
Well, like I said, and then they can go out the lint trap and stuff. The socks is debunked, I think. Yeah.
Well, not for me, because it's still an inordinate amount
And then
of
also,
socks that
we
disappear.
had a washer mess up once and little baby socks had went
Yeah,
through. So, like I
that
said, the socks is debunked
well, more than likely, most of your socks disappearing is yeah, it's just falling down inside the dryer
in the
somewhere or the
washer.
washer,
Mhm.
getting sucked in somewhere. But that doesn't explain it all. You know that. But forgetfulness and stuff of that nature, that can explain a lot of disappearing object issues, the phenomenon.
But with your mom, this is something she dealt with for years, even at a younger age. She was misplacing things.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it could have just been something close to her that was causing this. It's very possible. It's such a big rabbit hole when you start doing a deep dive into the missing object or disappearing object phenomenon. And so we're going to look at a few of the supernatural side of these disappearing objects, but there's a lot of them. And you can go on, I was telling you this just the other day. How far do we really want to go with this?
right.
Because, you got disappearing objects, but you keep going and there's disappearing villages,
Yes.
disappearing buildings, disappearing homes. There was even an entire planet. I read an article about an entire planet that vanished after some guy observed it for like 48 days.
Wow.
And then, yeah, he tried to observe it and it was just gone. So you could go, to the ends of the universe,
Mhm.
apparently, with this phenomenon that, things seem to disappear and what could possibly be the explanation. Now, the disappearing object phenomenon, DOP,
Doop.
DOP.
Doop.
Basically, objects are placed somewhere intentionally. Witness remembers clearly, object disappears. The area is searched repeatedly. Hours, days, sometimes weeks later, it reappears in an obvious location that had already been checked. People have had these objects reappearing right in the middle of a desk that was cleared off 10 times, or on top of a bed that had had the sheets stripped and washed.
I've done that.
Yeah. That has actually happened to me. Looked everywhere for something, and then, like, 5 or 6 days later, after I'd done laundry, I'd washed all my bedding and everything, it was laying beside my pillow.
Sometimes I wonder if it's not like God testing us, because it says that he will test our patience,
Yeah,
basically. So,
hey, very well could be, because it definitely tests my patience when I
mhm.
know I put something down and then I can't find it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
because
start
and
cussing and throwing stuff.
right, I get so angry that I'm just like, okay, I need to pull myself together and pray, God, reveal this to me and sometimes it works.
Sometimes, yeah, that's when the object, you finally see it. You finally find it.
Thank you, Jesus.
Of course, most people who are skeptical of such things say it's just flawed memory, but a flawed memory doesn't explain something like that. Something disappearing and then reappearing.
Right.
And it doesn't explain them returning in impossible places. Like they couldn't have possibly been there because you'd already checked it. Now, I know you've heard the term glitch in the Matrix. Do you think that's maybe related to this type of phenomenon?
A good possibility.
It seems like it because it's kind of along the same lines. It's something impossibly weird happening, something that shouldn't be there for just a split second.
Right. Or you've seen something. I do this a lot. I'm like, I've seen this happen before, or like I've seen this in a dream before.
Yeah,
And,
kind of
you
like
know,
deja vu.
And I remember driving up our holler to my mom and dad's house once before, and my uncle, he has a blind driveway. You can't really see when
Yeah.
something's coming up the road. And just before I got to his driveway, I had this vision just before.
Like a premonition?
Yeah, that he was backing down directly in front of me, and we almost hit. And like I said, as soon as I approached his driveway, here he come, and I was already on my brakes because I had that vision happen. So,
well,
I
that's
was like,
cool.
I've seen this before.
Yeah. Deja vu is very interesting.
It is.
I've always been fascinated by that because I very clearly had dreams of things happening, completely ignoring it. I remember it, but I just kind of push it aside because it was just like a dream about an everyday event, just kind of walking through my normal day at work or something along those lines. And then sometimes years later, all of a sudden, those exact same things start happening.
It plays out word for word, motion for motion, and you're
everything exactly as it was in that dream. It's like, whoa. And it will throw you for a loop. It just makes you feel so weird.
I always alert everybody. I'm like, oh, I've dreamt this before, or this has happened before.
Yeah, I will too. Sometimes it's just so strong. It's like, whoa, I've lived through this before.
Yeah.
Like I had this dream. So the whole glitch in the Matrix idea is kind of that reality is actually like a simulation.
Like a computer.
Yeah, and sometimes objects just don't render properly, so they're just not there. But then as soon as the simulation catches up or whatever,
it reappears.
There it is. Yeah. Any of my video game nerds out there know what I'm talking about. When in a video game, you'll have objects kind of clipping through other objects in the video game. And sometimes it's really weird and funny. But they think that reality might kind of be like that because there's this idea that our reality is actually just a really advanced computer simulation.
And, back in the 80s when we had Mario and it would do the Matrix glitch, we had to pull it out and blow the dust out of it. Yeah, that was the glitch then.
Yeah. So. Maybe somebody needs to pull us out and blow in the cartridge.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll clear some stuff up. Now, is that something that I buy into and think might be an explanation? Not really. I'm not on board with the whole life is a simulation thing. It just doesn't add up in my brain.
I mean, if you stand and stare at a mirror long enough, it's going to make you think about that stuff.
Yeah.
Glitches in the Matrix and stuff.
I mean, it's definitely weird. And I've seen strange stuff. It was something right out of the movie.
Yeah.
Seeing the same cat walk by twice. I've experienced that happening before. So it's not just Hollywood magic. It's something that people actually have happen. I don't know if it's a glitch in the Matrix or
Groundhog Day
or some kind of deja vu type of thing. I don't know, but I mean maybe it was just two cats who happened to look almost identical. We're just walking right by, right behind one right behind the other. Sometimes there are just simple explanations, but it's so weird that you kind of have to look at all the aspects and maybe not just accept the most simple explanation. Just because it's simple doesn't mean it's accurate or true. So now we'll go to a much older possible explanation for this phenomenon. European folklore talks about the Fae, the fairy folk, the hidden people of the forest. And Celtic traditions warn specifically about household objects going missing. In parts of Ireland and Scotland, people would leave out small offerings, milk, bread, and honey, to keep the fae from stealing their things. And sometimes they weren't stealing them, they were borrowing them, or intentionally and mischievously relocating them.
That's believable. Fairies could be real.
Yeah, I mean, these stories, they came from something. And
The little people.
yeah, we've talked about a few different stories about little people. When we talked about Edgar Casey, we talked about the fact that he supposedly was hanging out in the woods talking with these little people, these creatures of the forest. Maybe it was these fairies.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've talked about like the mine gremlins. Remember that about giving an offering, your uncle that took a sandwich for the mine gremlins?
Mhm.
Yeah. Maybe that's the explanation. Maybe we need to appease the fairy folk and they'll stop moving our stuff around. There's all kinds of folklore regarding these little people, fairy folk, whatever you want to say, the fae. So maybe there's some kind of truth to them. Maybe they are some kind of supernatural spirits that wander around and we don't always see them. Maybe they move our stuff around. It might sound a little bit absurd, I
Mhm.
guess, to think of, that as a possible explanation. But you look at how often the objects that vanish are small, personal,
Right.
sometimes emotionally significant items.
Mhm.
And that's what these fae are known to take and move around on you
Mm.
are things that you hold dear.
And they're shiny and pretty and
Right.
so
Yeah,
it's
they like those
attractive.
shiny, pretty objects, your
Mhm.
jewelry and stuff. So this is where it gets interesting. The folklore of the Fae say that they exist slightly out of phase with our world. And that's kind of where I lean on these disappearing objects, is it's kind of a phase thing. It's like parallel universes almost, other realities. And maybe our reality and this other reality is kind of rubbing together. And maybe we have these weak points where these objects slide through. They slip into that other dimension. I can't remember exactly who it was or where it was that I want to think it was probably coast to coast. I don't remember exactly like the guest or whatever that said this, but they said kind of think of universes, other universes, parallel universes, other realities even as like carbonation in a soda. And you see the bubbles rising up through the soda. And sometimes you'll see the bubbles kind of get caught against each other and they'll rub against each other for a second and then they'll finally split apart.
Yeah, break away.
Yeah, and they think that maybe other universes, other realities kinda work the same way. Sometimes they bump into each other.
Sounds legit. Possibility.
It's a definite possibility. There's a lot of scientific theories and things, that back this up. There's a lot of math that points to other realities being for real and other universes, existing right along with our own.
There's several different layers of reality. There's the physical layer, the energy layer, spiritual, the shadow, and the higher realms layer.
Right, and
It
we
all
already know that,
right.
sometimes that higher layer, that higher realm of what we call heaven, I guess you
Mhm.
would say, sometimes it is interacting with ours.
Right.
There's
They
been all
all
kinds of
just move
cases of that.
around each other.
Yeah. Yeah, it could just be kind of a bleed through effect. Certain parts of our reality is shifting into their reality and vice versa.
Right.
But now, speaking of these possible little fey creatures or whatever that move your objects around, you know, dematerialize your
Mhm.
belongings and then rematerialize them elsewhere. You ran across something that is kind of linked with the remote viewing
Mhm.
scene out there. It's something I hadn't really heard of,
Oh.
but it's kind of along those same lines. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, controversial topic. Some people's like, "Oh, this is not real."
Yeah, well, I mean, people say that about remote viewing and things
Yeah.
too.
I
So.
mean, supposedly science has proven this is not real, but science is just
Well,
testing theory. So,
yeah, science is not
mm,
100% definite
yeah.
on everything.
So, not everybody's done this experiment. So, apports. Have you ever heard of apports?
Apports.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
had
it's
not
like
heard about it till you told me about it.
it's like objects that are said to mysteriously appear out of nowhere, often during like seances, paranormal investigations. alleged spiritual activity. So it's like something you're like, how did that get here? Like a feather
Yeah.
that, just randomly appearing on a desk or something.
I've
Like
seen stuff like that.
speculate that's a feather from an angel's wing.
Right. Yeah, could be. Could be. But I've seen things like that of people doing ghost investigations,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll walk into and there'll be something in the floor, just some kind of random item, and it's like, where did that come from?
Or they'll just randomly fall from the ceiling.
Yeah.
So through the air.
And is it something just suddenly materializing
Mm-hmm.
into our existence, or was it something that was just there and maybe a spirit threw it at them or something?
Sometimes it can just be like you're feeling the sensation of something warm, cold, or wet. So could be in a port as well.
Okay, yeah. You know how remote viewing is basically astral projection. Your astral body, you're going and seeing things, witnessing things that are happening thousands of miles away.
Yeah. Or have happened.
Right. And this is kind of like that. It's people projecting in their astral bodies, and they're actually taking items
and bringing them back.
Yeah. And they could be the explanation for this. What if there are people out there who can just project themselves into an area, take an item, and it dematerializes with their astral body and then materializes back with their physical body? That's insane.
I've became really interested in this.
Yeah,
This wing
it's
stuff.
fascinating. Remote viewing has always been pretty fascinating. I heard a lot about remote viewing on Coast to Coast, and I always found it really, really fascinating that the government did a lot of work in remote viewing.
Yeah, there's documents.
Oh, yeah. There's all kinds of documents. It was called the Stargate Project, and that's the project they did all this remote viewing work under.
And there was hundreds of people in that study as well.
Yeah, there was a lot of people, and it seemed to work. I've heard interviews with some of the people who were involved with this, and some of the information they got, it was absolutely accurate. It was dead on.
So do you think this is tied to also when I was in school, it may have happened when you were in school, like the gifted and talented, where they would take you in the room and give you these tests and put headphones on you?
Yeah, you always heard about that stuff. I never got picked for it.
I mean, I remember doing the test and things like that. Did you ever do the test?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
I might have.
I remember the books and stuff having like stars. It's kind of like an IQ test, is what they give you.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't never like go up there. But I remember taking the test and things like that. So.
Yeah, I don't think I remember.
But I may have been the
test.
child that got up there and been like, I don't want the extra schoolwork. So.
Well, I remember.
So I'm just gonna ABCD this, just guess at it because I don't want to do the extra work.
I mean, I remember taking some tests a couple of different times where you had to wear headphones, and
I'm not talking about just like the normal hearing test where they're like,
no, not a
you gotta
hearing
raise your
test.
hand.
I'm saying it talked to you,
Yeah,
and asked you the questions through the headphones and things. Yeah, and you had like a multiple choice sheet or whatever.
No, mine was like I remember like a lot of shapes in mine, different shapes that you had to. Would tell you, but like which shape had so many shaded. Do you see anything else? Other shapes.
Oh, I don't remember that
in this shape, and it was very complex. And I'm just like, they're like, oh, we'll just give you extra work to do, and I'm like, extra work? No, I ain't doing this.
No, thanks. No.
Pull you from class. I was all for the pulling me from class,
Oh yeah,
so
of
I was
course.
like, oh yeah, pull me from class. I don't have to do the work. But then when they told me I'm gonna have to do more work, or it could be harder than what the other kids are doing, I'm like, no, pass. I didn't even try.
I'm not about the extra work.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Try another one.
So you think that maybe the gifted and talented test, it had kids that might be good for that? I mean, it's entirely possible. This project ran for
I just found
20 years.
Weird, like some of the questions and stuff really wasn't school related that they asked. Wasn't complex math problem or things like that.
Well, I remember taking the ASVAB.
Yeah, I didn't try on that one.
Yeah, that was all about discovering what career would suit you.
And I was way cooler, in high school, and instead of doing ABCD, I did ACDC. That was all my answers.
You just went through there. ACDC, ACDC.
The only thing I got right bubbling in was my name. I mean, I'm not saying some of them weren't right. I didn't try. I wasn't like, I don't want to go to the military either.
Yeah, it was mainly a military
Yeah.
thing. All the recruiters looked at that.
I remember my dad telling me he was harassed a lot by the Air Force wanting him to come and join and stuff because he done
Yeah, I
so
was
well
too.
on it, like the mechanics part and stuff.
Yeah, I was harassed by all the branches of the military begging me, wanting me to come. Come on, just give it a try. Just give it a try. And I was always trying to just, no, I'm good. I don't want to. I don't want to.
Mhm.
And then I finally figured out that if I informed them about my allergies,
They would go away.
yeah, they were like, oh, wait, yeah, I don't think we can
I'm not I'm
accommodate
not knocking
that many
serving
allergies.
the military. I appreciate everybody that served it, but it wasn't for me. It wasn't my goal in
Yeah, that's
life.
kind of me. I mean, I have a lot of family that was in the military
Yeah.
and salute them. They're my heroes. But yeah, it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
And I knew it wasn't.
I mean, if I had to, like raw, I'd go, but
Yeah. Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, if it was the difference in, defending our freedom, our lives against some kind of, national threat,
Yeah.
I'd probably be on the front lines.
But as far
I'd
as
be right
like
there signing up.
serving and going and living in other countries.
Yeah. I didn't plan on, pursuing higher education.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing to do if you plan on doing that, is going into the military, because you can get a lot of college paid for through the military. But yeah, it just wasn't for me. But anyway, like I said, the government ran Project Stargate for like 20 years. So it's entirely possible that they were dabbling in this apport stuff as
Yeah.
well. And we're actually figuring out how to not only be able to use this remote viewing ability to spy, but also to take items. So another possible explanation that came up a lot was poltergeist activity, something a little darker here. So unlike traditional ghosts, poltergeists interact physically with objects. I'm sure people have seen the videos, some of them probably faked, but there's a lot of videos out there on the internet.
Or the movie.
Of supposed poltergeist activity. Yeah, you can see plenty of movies about it. The poltergeist movie is terrifying, but basically it's, items banging and slamming and being thrown around. If poltergeists are able to interact with the physical world and do these things, who's to say they could be responsible for these disappearing items? That movie Poltergeist was supposedly based on some kind of true event. I don't think it was anything like the actual movie. And the whole Indian burial ground stuff at the end, I don't think that was anything to do with the actual event. But it was supposedly based on some kind of story about a family that was dealing with a poltergeist. And of course, the famous case that inspired the Exorcist movie, that also involved reports of objects flying and even vanishing from the room back in the 1940s. And a more recent Hollywood film, the case that inspired The Conjuring 2, included toys and small items disappearing and reappearing. Now, poltergeist cases often center around emotional energy, so that might kind of go back to what you were talking about earlier about being emotional when these things happen. When an item goes missing and you put it down there and you get all angry and ticked off, maybe it's your emotional energy that's keeping you from finding the item. Maybe that emotional energy is creating poltergeist-like activity and it's moving the object away from you until you finally calm down and then the object comes back. That's more of a brain, our brains, our energy affecting reality, affecting the outer world. Psychokinesis, I guess you could say, this unconscious energy that is actually displacing this matter, these objects. And even the parapsychologists that study poltergeist-like activity and stuff propose that these objects aren't being just moved, that they're being temporarily displaced into another space. So that goes back to maybe they're slipping over into another reality. Now, this is another theory that I love: time slip interference. I love time travel stuff. I find it so fascinating. So the idea that maybe these objects, they're not disappearing into some just unknown space, but maybe they're slipping through time. The whole theory is with time travel and all this is about like bending space time, and it gets really complicated
It
to
does.
explain. Basically, you can think of it this way: it's sometimes two moments separated by hours, days, years, sometimes kind of overlap for just a fraction of a second. Your present space intersects with some future space.
Hmm.
So you set your keys down, but 5 minutes in the future, you've already picked them up. And reality kind of corrects the overlap by temporarily removing the item. There are even cases of objects appearing that don't belong to the person at all.
I've had that happen.
Have you?
I don't know where the heck some of this stuff came from. Like a keychain. I'm like, where did this come from?
Yeah. Yeah. We've found a lot of strange things
Remember,
when we would clean out our house. We'd do like a good deep spring cleaning. We'd run across, where did this come from? What is this?
so I remember when we were younger, we were cleaning our room upstairs, the new section that mom and dad had built on. And we hadn't been to Kings Island in years. And you remember it looked like a little megaphone with the photo in it you could get, like a little keychain. You could look through it and see your picture.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we found one and we're like, oh, look, because we used to purchase them. And when we looked in it, it was nobody that we knew in this picture.
Really?
Yeah, and we're like, how the heck did that even get up here in this room?
That's
First of all, because it's like a new section of the house.
Yeah.
And it was the little purple one.
That's
people
cool.
we didn't even know.
That's really cool.
Mm.
That's weird. You didn't try to figure out who those people might have been.
Some randoms at Kings Island, I guess. So it was back before, you could show pictures on the internet or anything.
Right. That's really cool. You just had a item materialize
I have
that
no
belonged
idea
to
who these
somebody
people
else.
are.
That's cool.
And we were kind of like, well, did we pick this up? But why would we bring some, we were obsessed with the little thing. Why would we pick somebody else's picture up?
Right.
And bring it. We'd stared at it all the way home.
It's possible. It was just an accident. You did accidentally pick up somebody else's, but highly unlikely, I have to guess.
We looked at these, and, you know what I'm saying? Me and my sister were just obsessed because we just thought they were the coolest things ever.
Yeah.
I think we would have noticed it was not anybody in our family when we brought this home.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, it's very possible that maybe there was an extra one. You didn't even realize you'd picked up somebody else's. It's a possibility, but it's still weird.
It was showing up in the new section of our house years later.
There's a very interesting story from a long time ago. Not really a disappearing item. It was a guy, but he had all of his items on him. And you may have heard about this. It circulated around the internet quite a bit about a guy named Rudolph Fiennes. And according to the legend, he was dressed in 19th century clothing and appeared suddenly in Times Square, New York in the early 1950s.
Mm-hmm.
He appeared confused and was almost immediately struck and killed by a taxi. And nobody ever figured out how he got there.
That's interesting.
But the story basically talks about how, due to his clothing and the fact that he was only like 30 years old, he shouldn't have been wearing clothing from, like 80 years previous. It was like 1870 style clothing, including a long coat, old-fashioned boots, and a wide-brimmed hat. And when the police inspected his body at the morgue, they found items that appeared to be from 1876 in pristine condition. A copper token for a beer worth 5 cents, a bill for the care of a horse and washing of a carriage, approximately $70 in old banknotes, business cards with the name Rudolph Fitz, and a Fifth Avenue address. A police captain allegedly researched the name and found that a man named Rudolph Fitz had vanished without a trace while taking an evening walk in 1876. So, of course, everybody's explanation, time traveler.
Yeah.
He moved through time somehow. But maybe it was a ripple in time, a strange merging of two different time periods overlapping, and he just poof, all of a sudden he was almost 80 years in the future. So maybe that's happening to these items. I mean, time travel has been, a fascination for people for a long time.
Yeah. It's like Nikola or Nicolo. I don't know how you say
Nikola Tesla.
Yeah, Tesla. His inventions seem to be like far ahead of his time. claimed to have received ideas from the future. Conspiracy theories say he discovered time travel technology.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah. He talked about receiving some of his ideas for his inventions and things
mhm,
from the future, from like dreams, having dreams of the
mm,
future. And yeah, he supposedly did work on time travel a lot.
mhm.
He was trying to figure it out. And some people think that he succeeded.
And then we also have Da Vinci. He designed helicopters and tanks, advanced machines in the 1400s.
Right. Yeah.
So,
And maybe he was getting visions of the future.
yeah,
Maybe he was time traveling. Maybe he was
they
coming
say
here.
he was his inventions were too far beyond the Renaissance times. So,
Yeah. A lot of people
mhm.
believe that. It's definitely weird. And time travel is a very good explanation for what we're talking about for
And
these
here's a one,
objects.
and I'm still waiting on you to read the book. Was Baron Trump?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, that's a very interesting time travel story and pretty weird coincidences with the story of our current president. So, yeah, I definitely need to read
mhm,
that entire book. I've just kind of skimmed the cliff notes of it, I
yeah,
guess you would say.
just just putting you onto something.
Yeah, I definitely need to research that. We
Mhm,
might need to talk about that too.
yeah.
So now we're going to discuss a possible explanation. I know you've been dying to get to this one, the Mandela effect. What if reality is not what we remembered it?
It's not. Look at how they've changed some of these movies and stuff.
The Mandela effect is so weird.
It is.
Every time I look into it, I'm just so fascinated by it. Collective memory discrepancies, like the spelling of the children's book series Berenstain Bears. Now, that's the correct name, supposedly Berenstain Bears. But now I very clearly remember
Bernstein.
Bernstein, Stein at the
Mhm.
end. I remember that on several of those
Yes.
books and the records. I had records of the Bernstein Bears, and I remember it being spelled that way.
Yes. Or the cornucopia
Yeah, that's another
underwear.
good one. The cornucopia on
Mhm.
Fruit of the Loom.
It
I
was
remember
there.
it.
It was there.
I remember it
Mm.
on some of the clothes I had as a kid, some of the Fruit of the Loom T-shirts and
I'm just
things.
wondering if us kids from the 80s, they're just wanting to like delete our memories because we were just so awesome.
You think it's a
Our lifetime was
conspiracy?
so awesome that they have to delete something. You know what I'm saying? It's like they can't have it all.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know if the Mandela effect is really tied closely to the disappearing object phenomenon.
Phenomenal. I had to. You've said it so many times. It's give me the itch. I had to.
Oh boy.
Mm,
But the Mandela effect is extremely fascinating. Everybody out there should be looking into this.
yeah.
Most people have probably heard of it. But if entire populations, entire generations of
Mhm.
us can remember these alternate versions of reality, then what stopped these small objects from just slipping in between them? Maybe we're slipping right along with those objects. Maybe we're easing out of our reality into a different one where it was just Berenstain Bears.
Or you're gonna flip your lid over this one. I keep saying that Darth Vader did not say, "Luke, I am your father." He said, "No, I am your father."
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of those. Some of the movie lines remembered incorrectly. That's just, I think that is just memory. People remembering stuff incorrectly.
You think
Because
you watch that a million
I
bazillion
have.
times and you know what it says.
And I know for a fact that even when everybody kept saying the line incorrectly, Luke, I am your father, I knew they were saying it wrong because I'd watched the movie a million times. And I knew he had said, Obi-Wan never told you about your father. No, I am your father. Everybody knows that. Everybody who was a fan of the movie knew that.
Mhm.
But everybody, it was just kind of this, I don't know, societal thing that everybody just kind of changed it to Luke, I am your father.
What about Queen's song, "We Are the Champions"? Does it say "of the world"?
But not at the end.
But it does say it in there.
It says it in
Of
the
the
song.
world. They're saying it doesn't say it in there.
It says it, I think it only says it one time. I'm pretty sure I'm familiar with the one you're talking about. And they're saying that at the end of the song, it says, We are the champions. And then the music just fades off.
Mhm.
But everybody claims that, no, it used to say of the world at the end. And I don't remember that.
What about the little curly Q on the F in Ford? in the Ford emblem.
That I do remember.
It didn't happen.
Yeah. Supposedly that never existed, but I remember that. I do remember that. Seeing that on some older Fords. Mandela effect is just fascinating, though. I've always loved that one. It's a really, really cool, just strange thing because I do clearly remember some of this stuff. And you're right there with me. You remember this stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
But they say it wasn't that way.
Like I'm saying,
It feels very.
The 80s and 90s kids were so awesome that they have to screw with us somehow.
I don't know. It feels very 1984. It's like, don't
Mm.
believe, your own memory, your own eyes. Believe what we tell you. I don't know if any of these theories we've put out there are, good explanations for these disappearing items, especially when you start getting onto a grander scale. Like I said, there's stories of disappearing homes, villages, entire planets. So it's really hard to deduce which one it could possibly be. Like I said, I kind of still lean towards the maybe another reality or universe or something kind of bumping into ours thing. That seems to jive better in my head anyway with a explanation for this phenomenon. Would you stop? Maybe this is just all some kind of science we don't really understand yet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, quantum mechanics and all that. That was all voodoo, basically,
Yeah.
100 years ago. And now it's kind of basis for a lot of our science. So, I mean, there could be some form of scientific explanation behind all this. But there are some stories, like we read about a vanishing cabin.
Mm-hmm. In Black Mountain.
And in Black Mountain. Yeah. Right here in Appalachia, over around the Harlan area.
Yeah, it's on the Kentucky-Virginia border.
Yeah, there's been a lot of supposed sightings of a cabin that will appear out of nowhere. And sometimes these hikers, the people out wandering in the woods that come upon this cabin that just seems to appear out of nowhere, sometimes they'll spend the night there just looking for shelter, somewhere to stay warm. Sometimes it's accompanied by strange experiences throughout the night. And then the next morning, they leave the cabin. And when they try to find it again, they can't. It's gone, disappeared, vanished. And of course, something strange like that happening in the deep, dark woods of Appalachia. There's all kinds of supernatural stories surrounding it. Like this is some kind of ghost cabin that appears to people and messes with their heads. And then when they're telling everybody, yeah, I stayed at this cabin back over here, and then they go look for it and it's not there.
They're like, it's not possible because
just makes them look crazy.
It's not possible for it even to be there because it's like so far off the grid that
right. Yeah, it's always back out in the middle of nowhere.
They've not even like put any power lines or anything back there because they're just like, it's just so far.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's entirely possible to run across. I've talked to people who have been running around in the mountains close to us that have come across the remains of some old cabin or old house, and the people just built back in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Around here a lot, and there wasn't always roads and stuff. And when it wasn't feasible to keep using that home, it was too far away, they would just leave it, abandon it, and it would rot down.
I want to think that the story said that the Army Corps of Engineers said it wasn't possible to build anything back there because of something to do with the magnetic field. Like it just made it impossible to build.
Well, see, there's another explanation for it because, as we know, limestone, iron ore, magnetic fields, all that, Appalachian Triangle, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's because they couldn't properly plot the land to build anything back there to find property boundaries and things like that.
Weird.
Compasses would, go crazy back in there. So.
Well, that makes sense. We've talked a lot about that, about how people can't find their way out of places because their compasses won't work.
Yeah.
Weird electromagnetic fields, and maybe it's something supernatural, or maybe it's something physical, something real that it's just having an effect on people. Maybe they're hallucinating this strange cabin.
Maybe.
Whatever the explanation, it's very, very strange phenomena. You didn't do it that time.
I'm good.
So what should you do if you suddenly have something vanish, some kind of item disappear? Well, first, don't panic. Don't have a big emotional response. just chill out. Politely ask for it back. That might sound weird, but there are actual countless anecdotes of people verbally requesting that the object return, and it soon reappears.
Like I said, I've prayed,
Yeah.
please let me
Please
find
let me
this.
find
I'm
it.
late
Yeah.
for work,
Right.
and they'll just appear on the table, and I'm like, how the heck did I overlook this? I turned the table upside down.
Address the room. Say, okay, very funny. I need that back, please.
Yeah, that'll work.
Leave the space, come back later calmly. Maybe the item will have returned. And of course, I always say, thank you.
It's about damn time.
Now, we're not saying every missing item is, something supernatural, that there's some kind of bizarre explanation behind all these. But, sometimes it's so weird.
When you have
I know.
tracking devices on them and then you still lose
And
them.
you still lose them. Yeah, that's pretty strange. Sometimes you really did leave your keys sitting there, and now they're gone.
And they're laying in the driveway.
Yeah, but our reality, it may not be as solid and as real as it feels to us. Maybe there's seams, little folds, places where things can slip through, or maybe something's reaching through those folds and taking the item. So if you place your phone down while you're listening to Appalachia Not So Quiet, make sure to pay attention to our voices, because if they stop, your phone might have disappeared, might have slipped into another reality. I really don't know what the explanation is. It's like I said, it's just fascinating. That you got to admit that sometimes it's just way too weird to be forgetfulness or something like that.
Especially at a young age. So to be so forgetful.
Yeah, and it doesn't make sense. Some people are really good at keeping up with stuff. I think I'm pretty good at keeping up with my necessary items, like my wallet, my keys, all those things.
But not your cell phone. You leave it a lot.
I do leave my cell phone a lot.
in the mornings when you're getting ready, you leave it.
But that's not.
But it's not
because
lost.
it's disappearing.
I find it. Yeah. I'm like, gosh, please let him come back and get his phone.
I'm just in a hurry and forget it. There's just all kinds of possibilities when it comes to this phenomenon. I mean, you can go from semi-scientific explanations all the way to supernatural explanations. So I don't know what the answer could be. It definitely feels like sometimes maybe there's some kind of spirit or something that's maybe being mischievous. And other times it seems like maybe it's just shifting out of our reality just a little bit, going somewhere else for a little while.
Well, they say 95% of reality that we as humans can't see.
Yeah. Is what we're perceiving as reality, is it really everything? Or are we blinded to some of the things out there?
Yeah.
Maybe we can't see it all. Maybe we can't observe it all. One thing's for sure, we definitely don't know it all. But we keep looking for answers. And we hope all of you will keep coming back and listening to our pursuit of these answers. My dear Shade, I think we're going to get out of here. I want to say congratulations once again to Christina Ballard winning the Appalachian Not So Quiet hoodie. Congratulations.
Woo!
Yay, Christina Ballard. I have to use my little sound effects. Oh, shut up. I have way too much fun with these. I really need to find excuses to use some of these other buttons. There's some really good ones. So thank you everybody once again for listening. Check us out on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Audible,
YouTube.
Oh yeah. And I can't forget YouTube.
Yeah, Facebook. And we also have a new website.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, it's notsoquiet.com.
Notsoquiet.com.
Find all the links to subscribe, follow, find all of our content on that page. About us, to contact us, our Knothead merch store.
That's right. Knothead's merch store.
Yes, it's live now. If you're looking for sponsorships, we got all of our media kit there, so you can check that out. And yeah, that's how you get up with us.
Yeah, we have a new main hub for all of our content. Facebook has been kind of the primary, but now we also have a website. So go check out our website. We got all kinds of neat stuff there. And definitely go check out Knothead's merch store. Knothead is a fantastic little mascot that Shade has created for us, little possum guy. He's cool.
And then, definitely check out the Cryptid collection t-shirts, like the meth hog. That one's cracked me up. That one's great.
Yeah, you've designed all kinds of t-shirts with some of the cryptids that we've discussed on here. You've even got every holler has its own booger type of thing. The one that's supposedly on Punchin' Hollow, the Yellowman stretcher. Mm-hmm. And then Lion Man from back up in my area. Yeah, so definitely check those out.
Or if you have a holler booger and you want us to create a shirt, like, let's tell us about your booger.
Yeah, leave us some comments. Tell us about your boogers.
Yeah,
boogers that live back in your hollers, the handsome boogers. Yeah, don't worry about being called crazy and all that. Just wear it with pride. Tell everybody about your handsome boogers that are back on your holler, because that's part of our life. That's part of our folklore. This is Appalachia, baby. So from us to you, thank you for all the listens and all the continued support. I am your host, Hillbilly Phantom.
And I'm Appalachian Shade.
And we'll catch you on the next one. Till then, watch out for them boogers.